Oh joy.
And there's no way to move it, or it doesn't. Like Dave uses a tool on Three Fat Truckers called what is it? Opus Clip, and it uses AI to like shift the frame around to catch the person that's talking, and then it does transcription and or well subtitles and all that stuff too. It's actually pretty slick. He pays about $100 a year to use it. All right.
So
Well,
you getting along with those guys on Three Fat Truckers again?
yeah, everybody's being kind of walking on eggshells, I guess.
So are you back on there doing it again?
I suppose I've been on the last two shows, so I try to be the voice of. I don't think people realize how blatantly insensitive some of the racist comments can be sometimes. And
Well,
so I try to assume that people just don't know any better and then try to steer the conversation another way. It's not always so easy.
well, I have recently. I was talking to someone about a moderating a panel with veterans to discuss lawful and unlawful orders,
Oh boy.
and it surprises me. I've talked to
Oh,
a couple of veterans that evidently have lost their goddamn mind and don't understand what a unlawful order constitutes, that it is literally an unlawful order for you to kill someone that is now a non-combatant for whatever reason. It's like killing a civilian,
Or this whole concept of sending our military into our cities to
which is actually against the
yeah.
Constitution as opposed to against the law, which is even worse.
I don't know how many people I've had to explain, and it goes right over their head. There is a reason when we take our oath, we pledge to the Constitution before we pledge to the President of the United States. There's a
And
reason
we
for that.
specifically talk about lawful orders. The words lawful orders are in there. But it's insane that people actually think, that crap's okay. At least insane to me.
I
I
yeah.
guess maybe I'm just, entirely too liberal or something.
no, yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Well,
I
I don't. Yeah. Sorry.
no, I'm
Go
sorry.
ahead.
I was just gonna go on a rant.
Well, the only thing I was going to say is, and I get into this conversation with my girlfriend, um, because she talks about a lot of stuff you guys just mentioned, lawful, Constitution, and what I see is people, um, logic, rationale, and common sense, or even legal understanding, just goes out the window. And it's all about they think it's one way and their way is right. You're wrong. Everybody, they're right. So anyway, it's just
What bothers me
evidence.
is the whole concept of America has been this, and I don't want to use the word melting pot, but there is not, there's really no such thing as an indigenous American. Now you could argue that Native Americans, they're about the closest thing we can get, but we all came here from somewhere. That is obvious. That is an unarguable truth, and that is part
America
of
is built on immigration right from the goddamn beginning.
unarguably yes. But somehow or another, it's like we got to an inflection point where okay, we got all the white people we want. Um, let's try to get rid of some of these darker skinned people or something like that. Because if I'm sorry, if it was European white people that were getting thrown out more, which by the way, I don't know, maybe that argument doesn't hold up because we have mistreated some
has happened some with some Irish communities. I believe it has happened some with some Italian communities. Not, people that have been here for a long time or anything. That happens too. But a lot with legal immigration of white people as well. But you see it more with the non-white people.
And I think people are just they've got it in their head that, oh, finally I can be the racist bastard I've always wanted to be, and it's fashionable now.
Well, until a few months ago, there was this massive movement within the Hispanic community that supported Trump. And
Yeah, I
I
think
just
that was
never saw how.
misunderstanding though. I think they they misunderstood where he was coming from.
Well, they thought he
I
was only
hope
going
they
to go
learned their
after the
lesson.
illegals, and then they found out that no, he's going after everybody that's not white.
Yeah. No, I know. They
Well, yeah. I think the other part of that about Hispanic people are people of thing that are here. I think it's not about who they're going to go after. I think that they like that he's a tough guy and he's going to stand up, and they like the machismo that he's the
yeah.
president. He's got ultimate power. He's going to do whatever he wants, and that's appealing because I think it shows strength and confidence and leadership, quote unquote. Not everybody, but there's a certain people that believe that they don't care about the law, the legal, and all the other things. So, just in
Yeah.
my opinion.
And
Okay.
I think some of that tough guy stuff sort of applies to we are streaming, by the way.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I just
Okay.
looked up and saw on air, and I said, "Oh, this is." I'm sure we might get some comments now,
I
but
don't
anyway.
give
Oh,
a
we
flying
we
shit.
we get we get comments from people saying that we shouldn't, be political. And we try to leave politics out of the main show, but considering that this is an open forum and anybody can come on here and say whatever the heck they want, then I don't see the problem with talking about it on the Saturday show.
Yep. I agree.
Okay.
And you ought to know that this is our mind by now anyway, that we're not.
Yeah, it's not like we tried to hide it during
No.
when we have talked about politics on the main show. It has come up a couple of times.
Oh yeah.
We get rather passionate about it. So, and I don't know.
Well, yeah. So just to pivot, since this is roundtable, we're talking about somewhat politics. But has anybody seen or read in? I only heard a blurb that the god of the USA, so he is pointing himself, now is going to allow Nvidia to sell chips to China. He's did a pivot. I just saw
Yeah,
that in the last 24 hours.
I saw something on that. I didn't read into it.
Anybody that offers him enough money,
I
he'll
was gonna
provide a
say
pivot.
his family must have some sort of stake in that whole thing somehow,
Oh, they probably showed up to $1 million plate dinner or something.
or
Yeah.
the
So
the guy that owns Oracle, or you know, I don't know,
Nvidia.
or Nvidia. My bad.
Well, I think it's probably, and I think this goes back a couple of months. Did Nvidia, when the CEO was, at a gathering of, tech bros, said that he was going to invest umpteen $1 billion in factories and stuff in the USA. So that may have been the bone that
Yeah,
so he says, oh yeah, he's going to quote to bring all manufacturing or help bring manufacturing back to the States. So now he'll give him a pass where he's going to allow
And
him to sell chips to China, or maybe he donated some money to help remodel whatever thing he's going to remodel now or whatever. So anyway,
and I can't see anybody that's white collar or blue collar believing that things are more affordable right now than they were this exact same time last year. And his rhetoric about affordability, costs are down everywhere. Groceries cost less, gas costs less. Well, right now, gas prices are down, but they're always down right before Christmas because they want people to travel. So I don't know how people can believe anything that comes out of that man's mouth. Oh,
oh, is that a Twitch or a Switch? What are you holding?
I'm holding my phone.
Oh, that's a phone?
Yeah, I 3D printed some rails for this
Oh,
this set of Razer controllers, and I've been playing around with Game Hub, which allows you to use Steam and Proton on Android in order to play games.
hmm.
I mean, it's definitely not perfect yet, and a lot of games still don't work, but some of them are working really good.
Yeah, it almost looks like that
The,
handheld play game.
the
What's it
Switch,
called?
yeah.
The Switch. That's what I thought that was. That's an interesting rails you have on it. And what kind of phone is that?
S24 Ultra?
Samsung?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I had one of them. They're pretty cool. Game Sir.
No. These are Razer. Oh gosh, what are they? They're RZ06.
What?
Hold
One
on.
of the other ones, basically.
Razer RZ06 Jungle
So it's
Cat. Razer
okay.
Jungle Cat with some 3D printed rails that I
Oh,
made
okay. Right.
for my
So
phone.
you said that was you said that was a Samsung Galaxy S25 Ultra?
24 Ultra.
Oh, 24. I was gonna say, man, you dropped some coin on that. Ooh.
Well, they were expensive. When I bought the 24 Ultra, it was brand new. But what I tend to do is I buy a phone, I pay for it for 2 years, and then I keep it for 2 years after that, and then I upgrade. So I keep a phone for 4 years.
Yeah.
But
And I think the
I'm
phone
also
I have, I
paying.
had for 4 almost.
I pay for my phone and my wife's phone at the same time. The kids get cheap phones or hand-me-downs because I can
Got it.
only afford so much.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when you said Ultra, I'm
I'm
like,
not a
man,
doctor.
Doctor, do you hear me
I
calling,
really wish the
calling?
stereotype of doctors being rich was true, because I could do with that money.
You would be here. Came over here,
True
you would
say.
be.
Well, no,
Yeah.
if he went
Well,
into it depends on where he went into practice, because some of those country doctors still aren't all that rich. But
Well, no,
yeah,
like you couldn't go to Alaska and set up camp up in one of those
well,
outposts.
but even he may be making more money here, but malpractice, insurance, and all the other fees associated around, I think are probably going to be substantial higher than they are in
as an
Yeah.
the UK.
but as an anesthesiologist, he'd be able to do multiple hospitals at the same time, especially if he went to an area like Dallas or New York
Mm.
or something like that, where there's a crap ton of emergency rooms and hospitals. So he could make a lot of money. He would just have to, grind a bit.
Yeah. And I've got to that age where I'm trying to slow things down rather than doing more. Do you know what I mean?
And what is it? In order to come here, you'd have to basically go through medical school again, or take the boards, American boards over
Yeah.
again.
I'd basically have to do the boards again. Yeah.
Oh, just the boards. Okay.
But then I would have also have to do the USMLE as well, and work as a resident before I could become
Oh,
a attending. And like, I mean, I've been the equivalent of an attending here for 10 years. Do you know what I mean? So I don't really fancy going down the food chain. Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Even if it's only for a couple of years.
So wait a second. What do you mean you've been attending there for 10 years?
So
What does that
here,
mean?
so the I mean, the nomenclature is different in America as it is to here, but basically the idea is that you qualify for medical school, you work as a
Mhm.
resident, so you're training into
Right. Yeah.
a subspecialty, and then here you're called a consultant, but in America you're called an attending. When you have finished that program, you've
Yeah.
passed the boards, you've passed the fellowship exams, whatever, and then you work from there on. Now, I completed all of that training and residency 10 years ago. So I've been working as, here I'm called a consultant anesthesiologist, but if I was in America, I'd be called an attending physician. Do you see what I mean? So I'm that level.
Well, yeah. So you're right. So consultant meaning you're a full-fledged doctor, basically. Now, there,
No,
not here.
yeah, no, but I've been a doctor for the entire time. It's just that I haven't been a solo specialist. I've always needed, when you're a resident, you always need someone to be your
More
boss,
senior.
basically. Yeah, you always need
Doctor,
someone
Well,
more
yeah,
senior.
doctor
yeah,
is
yeah,
about
yeah.
your degree.
Yeah, being a doctor is about your degree, and so yes, I finished university in 2003, so that's when I became officially doctor. But to be a fully trained specialist working independently without any oversight required, that's only when you become an attending. Up until that point, you always still need to have someone to supervise you, to give you a hand if things go wrong. Do you know what I mean? It
Okay.
also means that the
And you're
buck
still
doesn't
in that.
stop with you. Yeah, it also means that the buck doesn't stop
Okay.
with you as well. You can always kind of say, well, it's my boss's responsibility, not mine. But now I am that
Yeah.
boss.
Okay.
Oh, Majid,
So
you might have noticed we're on Discord. And
yes,
like
I noticed. How did he get it to work?
Oh, fuck if I know.
It's because I showed up.
I think that's probably what it is, actually. Yeah.
It just decided it was going to work this time.
Yeah.
I
I
wonder if
mean,
I've got another problem going on in that machine. It's
RAM
I mean, it
issues.
does. I mean, it does make you wonder, doesn't it?
Well, because it's two video cards. Of course, they're of the same line of Radeon Pro, and if I put either one of the Fire Pros back in, I never had this problem. Why would that make any difference? But I don't know.
Try nuke and pave. That's
He's
what's
already done
next.
that, though.
He's done. Yep.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
I haven't. Well, yeah, I did do that. That was the first thing I did.
Yeah, you did do that. 'Cause that's what you did first, didn't you? Thinking that's
Yeah.
what it
That's
was.
probably.
I mean, I'm going to say it again. I wonder if it's a X and Wayland thing. That Discord's not playing well with it, and that's why you're always having the issues.
I downloaded Kubuntu
Mm-hmm.
2404 because I thought by that time they were on.
No, no.
Wayland,
They
but
only went over. I think 2504 is when it became the default, but there was still an X session.
right.
I don't know if 2510 has an X session.
Well, I downloaded 2510 of Ubuntu proper. I was going to try that because that.
Yeah, that's got. I mean,
all
that's
downloaded.
Wayland. I don't think it's even got an X fallback, that one.
No. Nope, I don't think so.
Yeah. So yeah, worth a shot.
Majid, are you going on holiday to India or anything? Or are you staying local?
I would like to go on holiday. I finances don't mean I probably can't at this moment. There'd been a plan in January to go to Morocco. Me and the wife. We might do that. And then there'd been a tentative plan for next summer to go to India to visit the in-laws and rellies and stuff. But yeah, no, it's just having been off for that time that I was, even though even though it's not like America. I mean, I still got paid. I didn't get any of the extra stuff that I do paid. So I've got, and plus my son has started. Well, I mean, he was already at university, but he's changed universities now. He's at a different university now, and so the fees there are a bit higher. So I'm not saying I'm poor or anything, but it's probably not a priority to go away, if you know what I mean.
Yep, I get it. Yeah.
I mean, I am still off over Christmas because I'd been lucky and I put that leave in quite early, so I have managed to get that time off.
Put it in for next year now.
Well, I think my department have cottoned on to the fact that I do that, actually. And so they've started saying, yes, you can put stuff in a year in advance, but just not in holiday time. Do you know?
Hey, Bill. Recognize anything?
Ooh,
Is that the one I sent
that
you?
looks cool.
Yeah.
I was a little concerned about the battery on it because it had been sitting in my drawer for a couple years.
I did the same thing with my other one. I had it sitting in the drawer for a while, and it holds battery pretty well, so I'm not worried.
How's life with you, Charles, anyway? Have you got time off over the Christmas break?
Yeah, I'll have some time off. Yeah, it's but Not going anywhere. I mean, I try not to travel outside of the West Coast here. Uh, I think in all my years of being on the West Coast, I've been back to the East Coast once. Never for Christmas or Thanksgiving. I was back in February in 1990 when my father passed away. Otherwise, trying to get on a plane to go back to the East Coast between November and January, it's like I'd rather have 2 root canals and a lobotomy. Because, I mean, I'll give you
First
an
of all,
example. I'll give you an
the
example. In
traveling.
2020, yeah,
Oh, go ahead.
in 2022, when my mother passed away, she passed away December 16th, and the funeral was going to be like December 28th or 29th. So the flight coming out of Portland here was, I don't know when I left on. I left like the 26th or something. It was a couple days after Christmas. Anyway, I had like a 2-day window to get to Rochester, and of course, I made the mistake of taking a late flight out of Portland, never doing that again. And there were some wind conditions in Portland. It wasn't raining, it wasn't snowing. There were some wind conditions. My flight was an hour and 40 minutes late getting out of Portland. Connecting flight in Chicago was long gone by the time I got there. So I had to spend the night in Chicago. And then trying to get into upstate New York was like an act of God. So I ended up finally flying into Syracuse, 60 miles away, and my brother drove over to pick me up because it was going to be a week for any available flights to get into Rochester for some reason. So I got in the day before my mother's funeral. So anyway, so it wasn't weather related. Well, I guess it was weather related, but it wasn't snow. It was wind conditions here in Portland. So, but anyway. So, hence, I try to avoid flying across the country in that part of the time of the year. So,
I try to avoid going north after like October till about March.
Okay.
This is about as far north as I like to go.
Okay. All right.
They get that white shit once you start going up north.
yep, yes, they do.
Has anybody ever done the kind of big kind of Route 66 type of journey in the States? I mean, I know Bill probably has before work. All that traversing. Yeah,
I have.
but I mean,
Look, it's a 20-hour drive from El Paso to northwest Iowa. Well, 22 to 24-hour drive, depending. So I've done that, and I've done the drive from El Paso to Florida, and I consistently do the drive from Dallas to Florida, and I've also done the drive from Dallas to Iowa, but I generally don't go further west than El Paso.
Well, Route 66.
I've often said that that'd be one. I've often said it's one of my things that I would love to do as a, one of the kind of bucket list type things. Do you know what I mean? Go on a road trip all around America. You know what I mean?
You would get
Do the whole Route 66 thing.
Yeah, and you got to be paying attention too because Route 66 is more. There is no Route 66 anymore. It's like a fragmented sort. You got to get on a bunch of different roads to actually take the Route 66 sort of experience, and it stretches from Chicago to L.A. And if you look, like I brought up a map of Route 66, and it looks like a straight shot, but actually, I'm looking at the roads you actually have to take. It's not all interstate either. It would be interesting.
But I mean, but that's part of the fun, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's part of the fun. If you're doing it to explore, then just being on a highway for 10 hours or 20 hours or whatever, it's hardly exciting. It's seeing the differences and the different
I've driven
terrain.
next to the Grand Canyon, which was awesome.
A good amount.
I mean, there's another.
Looks like it's on I-40 once you get down. Once you get down to Oklahoma City, it's I-40 pretty much the rest of the way, except in New Mexico. You got to get off of I-40. It looks like, and go north a ways. Yeah, it would be fun. It would be fun on the portions where the route has diverged from the interstate, because what used to be 66 and then was replaced by interstate highway, that would be all gone by now. All of the experience that went along with that.
I mean, or another one that I'd love to do is the Pacific Highway. You know, going from San Francisco to Los Angeles.
I want a Ferrari.
I'd love to do that.
Drive on that. But you would probably I'd probably get into trouble.
But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to remember what the name of the road is.
The one.
That's it. Yes, that's it. But yeah, I mean, I can imagine again. We even had this as a plan. I remember me and my wife, we even looked into flying into San Francisco, then being there for a week, and then kind of driving down to Los Angeles and then flying back. It was going to cost an arm and a leg, but we did look into it once.
I guess they're saying that my mic is too low. Is that better?
It's all right. I thought it's been all right, actually. I didn't know.
Somebody in the chat was saying it was too low. I had it turned down for Video Ninja.
Well, check your OBS as opposed to your actual
Yeah, I'm
mic
looking at it now, and it was bouncing down around 20, but now it's up between audio check, audio check. What's going on here? Audio check. Is that better? Am I blowing you out now?
You sound fine. No.
Audio.
I noticed it.
Yeah.
I noticed that when Bill and Majid speak, after a few seconds, there's like static in it. The way it's coming through to me, I don't know about anybody else, but not all the time. It's inconsistent.
You've had a little bit of video lag on your end too, Charles. I noticed.
Oh, okay.
It's not a unique thing. It happens. You got somebody gaming somewhere on your network?
Nope, nobody's gaming here. Nobody. Just a world of connections, I guess.
Yeah.
So.
There's no understanding it.
Hey, John's Linux World, Northern Illinois. Yeah, that would suck, especially with the Lakes region there. Believe me, I know the winter is horrible.
Well, I'll say it again. I was stuck all week in upstate New York, and that's more winter than I've had in the last 6 years put together into 1 week. So,
well,
yes,
you're
normal.
right at You're just past the southern end of the Great Lakes, aren't you?
Well, they sit just directly below Lake Ontario, and that's all that was lake effect snow coming down off of that. But it was substantial, because we get some lake effect off of Lake Michigan here in northern Indiana. But,
yeah, exactly.
But it's nowhere near what they get, because their lake is laying on its side, and so it's right there in where the wind blows through and catches it too. I enjoy
Lake Ontario lake
stay.
effects is no joke when it's bad. But actually, Buffalo, around Lake Erie, they get worse lake snow when it's rearing its ugly head. A lot of times Buffalo will get slammed like it did several years ago, and Rochester got like 5 or 6 inches of snow because it was kind of localized from Lake Erie. So, but anyway.
Yeah, it does seem to snow quite a bit around Buffalo. It seems. The only reason I know this is because I've been watching NFL highlights. Whenever there's a Buffalo Bills game, it's always snowing.
By the time I got to Rochester, it was pretty much over with. And then by the time I got to Buffalo, the roads were dry. So that was means for celebration right there.
So Respawn says in the chat that he's been messing around with Fedora Cosmic. Yeah, the release has come out, hasn't it? The full release of Pop OS with the full desktop, Cosmic desktop. I've seen a couple of reviews and stuff like that.
I'm starting to think Fedora will try anything. They come out. Somebody comes up with something, and Fedora comes up with a version with it baked in.
That's but that is kind of their raison d'etre, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, showcase new technologies and all that sort of stuff, which they can then, reverse engineer back into RHEL.
And they've
it's
got the
kind of the
perfect
whole
platform
point.
for it because they're pretty much, I wouldn't say they're on the bleeding edge, but they're right up there on the
They're pretty
cutting edge.
close.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I might try that out. I did have not Fedora, sorry. I did have a Pop! OS Cosmic Beta on the distro hopping laptop, but then I decided to try Ghost BSD. That did not last long at all.
No
Not
Wi-Fi?
at all. No, it just was. It was like all the problems of computers in the early 2000s without any other benefits.
I wonder if we go and try something like that, expecting it to behave like Linux and give up
No, I think that's
prematurely.
true. I think that was part of the thing. I thought. And anyway, now I'm trying out Ubuntu Budgie just because why not?
Yeah.
It'll be because me and Dale are hoping, just tentatively, but hoping to do another episode next weekend. So I need to have something to talk about, don't I?
He wants me to come on at some point talking about Arch.
What, do you run Arch?
Yeah, I suppose I do.
Okay. Apparently 6 to 7% of people do.
That didn't
Yeah, I
stop.
tried Cosmic here a couple months ago, like the beta version. It didn't go well. Of course, I was
Okay.
doing it in a VM, and so it was a bad experience, so I nuked it. So
It's fine. I mean, it just, to me, it reminds me of GNOME with a bunch of add-ons. Really,
I mean, that's basically what it is,
Yeah.
really. I mean, Nick on the Linux experiment, that was his basic review. It was like the interface is like GNOME with a bunch of extensions, except it's not GNOME with a bunch of extensions. It's kind of they've written it all in Rust, so it's a bit more cohesive and less likely to break. But if you had to, in the same way that Daniel Fiora can say whatever she wants, but Elementary looks like Mac OS. It just does. Do you know what I mean? It
I
just
think
is.
she's got to know
And so
by
it's
now. You can't get her to admit it.
No.
The best we've ever done is got her to admit that they've taken some inspiration from
oration. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
But I mean, it's been taking flack for looking like Mac OS since day one. So I mean, it's undeniable.
and not in a good way.
Well,
That's what I'll say.
I mean, it's fine. If you come from that sort of paradigm or that way of doing things, and you've gotten used to it, and then you're coming to Linux and you want something to just fire up and work. I've not known
Then
a lot
you'd
of
use
people
Ubuntu
like that.
or you'd use Ubuntu. You wouldn't use Elementary, though, would you? Let's be honest.
Well, I mean, you would have to do some work to make Ubuntu look and behave like Mac OS, I think.
Not much, no. Not much, I don't think.
I mean, you got to get some kind
You
of dock
can,
at the
you can.
bottom.
Yeah, that's just a setting. You don't even have to install a separate extension like you used to before, like dash to dock. You can just use the panel settings that they've got.
So
It'll
you had a
auto-hide.
real bad experience with it then, or you just don't.
It's not
get
that I've
it?
had. It's not that I. No, it's not that I had a real bad experience about it. It's just that I just kind of just don't see the. I just don't know who it's for. Because okay, so who tries Linux? People who are a bit nerdy, right? People who want to mess around. People who want to tinker, right?
Are you
people
calling
who
me
want
a
to have?
nerd?
You know you're a nerd.
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Boylan, but yes, you are a nerd.
Yeah, you know.
Okay. Yeah, you nerd. Right?
That makes you happy, and you know it.
And you might also have some leanings towards free and open source, right? So, if you are that cohort of person, and you're on a Mac, why would you want exactly the same thing that you're leaving?
I've just never met somebody who was a Mac user that would leave Mac and wanted something. I've met one or two people that I was able to talk away from Windows, but I've never been able to talk a Mac user.
Yeah, same here.
away.
Yeah.
You know,
Getting someone away from a Mac, I've never managed that. Not that I necessarily tried, but it just doesn't happen.
because all of the things
that's
that
so
upsets
that's
us about Mac, it does not upset the average Mac user. So
yeah. And so therefore, as I said, where is this cohort of people who love macOS so much, but they want to move to Linux? That they want to have exactly the same experience that they had on macOS,
I mean, it's
but in Linux, and that too in a so I don't know who that is. And then secondly, if you're a normal Linux person, nerd, I'm sorry, newsflash, Joe, but if you are, then you go on to elementary and it starts getting annoying very quickly. You can't change this, you can't change that, you can't tinker with this, you can't tinker with that, you can't do this, you can't do that. And it's like, okay, well, it's obviously not made for me. Okay, fine, but then who is it made for? Do you see what I mean? I'm not, I always
just
sound like
wonder
I'm
about
being really nasty,
the quiet
but
masses.
I'm not.
The quiet masses out there, the ones that are not getting on podcasts talking about using Linux, the ones that
Well,
are
they're
just
not getting on Linux.
Does
Yeah,
that just
they're
not
not getting on
exist?
Linux though. No, it doesn't, because they're not on Linux. They're still on Windows, or
Because they're not
or the
talking
maximum
about
that. No, because they don't.
Or they haven't made themselves
I get
known in any community
so
or anything.
so this would assume that there is a large constituency of people out there who are running Linux and are not techie, nerdy, geeky people.
And not talking about it.
Not talking about it. I'm
They-
not
they
sure
don't-
that exists.
They don't come out and say, I run Arch every 15 minutes.
Well, they wouldn't even know what that
So-
is because they download
Don't exist.
Ubuntu or okay, because they don't exist.
If you run Arch, you make sure everybody knows.
Exactly. The entire world
they
knows.
must exist because elementary's been around for years, and it's got
You-
enough
okay,
money coming
okay,
in to.
So you look at elementary, and for example, you look at their apps, right? And you see, and they made very nice apps. You see how many times they've been downloaded. It's in the hundreds max. It's not thousands or tens of thousands or millions or whatever. I mean, you could even actually say that about Ubuntu. I remember reading OMG Ubuntu articles talking about, apps of the month, and he would have the app numbers would be in the thousands, and you'd be like going, what? Really? The premier Ubuntu, premier Linux distribution has, only this many people downloading stuff from its software manager. So
Danny should be here.
yeah, I just don't think there's that many. Yeah, I just don't think there's just that many people out there using it. That's all.
Well, I mean, the fact that for some time now, Danny's been able to support herself on just the money that's coming in, and you got to know that most of the people that use elementary are not paying a dime for it, but yet there's enough money coming in to support herself. And I think at one time it was supporting her and what was the other guy's name?
Yeah, there was another geezer, but now it's just her, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so. And plus, there's other contributors as well. I mean, maybe most people are downloading this thing just like they would most distributions. They're using the default set of applications that it comes with. Because you gotta know most of your Linux distributions come with more software than even guys like us use. I don't open LibreOffice or what's another one? Any of those X.
Yeah,
X
I
apps
know what
and
I mean.
things.
Yeah, I know.
And
yeah, a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that Leo would say is not, but everybody else would call bloat. That's on a lot of distros. That's fine. Look, I mean, what the hell do I know? If it's not the most massive team, though, is it? Is it?
I take your point about who we say we're going after these days. The quote, the person who is thinking of switching from Windows to Linux or thinking of switching from Mac OS to Linux, and I never have really believed that that person existed, although there has been evidence, even recently, I guess, Zorin is enjoying kind of an uptick in their user base, and that's another
Yeah,
distribution that makes money.
yeah. I mean, the only other thing I didn't know exactly how reliable those numbers were.
Oh, they're yeah. Well, I mean, there's always going to be an argument to that effect
I
because
mean, yeah. I mean, good for them. Great. You
yeah,
know, Zorin is a good distro. I've used it before.
Zorin
I quite
OS.
liked it.
Johnub in the chat says 1 million downloads. They say for Zorin OS, and I think I
Okay.
remember hearing somebody saying that too. Now that's a distribution that is, and I downloaded it myself just to see how they're coming along, and I had to go looking for something to tell me that I was using uh, GNOME, because they've tailored that GNOME experience so well to look like, something that a Windows user would be comfortable with. Uh,
Hmm.
I couldn't. I kind of knew it was GNOME, but it was so well done that I had to go looking
Yeah,
for
yeah, yeah, yeah.
something to, because everything has been rebranded with Zorin, right down to you
Yeah,
don't even really have a concept of GNOME extensions, really, because they put the whole thing
yeah.
together
Because
into one
yeah,
cohesive
they put
thing.
all the extensions together and then
Yeah.
not allowed you to put any extras on. Yeah, no, it's a good distro. I like Zorin. I've used it. It's really good. Um, I haven't got any, and I hope that it's right that they have had 1 million downloads and they're storming ahead, and that I really hope that's true and those reliable, and that can only be a good thing for Linux if you've got more people using it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
I
those
don't want.
numbers I think are for. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, somebody was saying in the comments here that it was the arc menu and the dash to panel. Yeah, that is what it is. But then you go looking, like I had to go and install the extension manager just to see what extensions they had, and when you do that, you see that everything's been rebranded with a Zorin panel, which the Zorin panel, I could not find the updated version of that in the GNOME extensions website. Um, Although all that stuff is on GitHub, so they're kind of making this stuff in house and using kind of a put together cohesive version of all this. And yeah, it is based on dash to panel and the arc menu, but you don't have a concept of all that until you really go digging, and you would have to be curious on a nerd level to go looking for that. They've aliased all of the applications into application names that Windows users would be used to seeing, which is kind of another thing that's interesting. Their choice of
Yeah.
browser though is I don't know. I'm not sure how I feel about that, but
What is it, Vivaldi?
no, it's Brave, which
I quite like Brave. I know there's some politics around it.
I like it. I don't know that I like
I
it as a
that
default browser though. It's an interesting choice. I'd like to hear somebody talk about it.
Okay. All I've ever heard when it comes to problems or issues that people have with Brave have always been not the technical side of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, everything is to do with maybe the politics, the crypto wallets, the way the shoehorning of AI, or now they've got an agentic mode in the nightlies. Apparently, I saw that today, right? And so that is important to some people, and that's every that's fine. If those kinds of things really put you off, great. It's free and open source software. It's choice is good. There's plenty of other things you can use instead, right? But as I said, I've never found anybody having a technical problem with it. Nobody's kind of gone, it doesn't work. This crashes. That happens. That's what I've never found. So I did move over to Brave maybe just about a year ago, actually. Yeah, about a year ago, I moved over to it as my default browser. And I like the fact that it's lightweight. I like the fact it's got a built-in ad blocker. I like the fact that I can use YouTube as if I've got YouTube Premium, which I do have anyway, but don't need to. I find it a little bit less buggy than Vivaldi, and I've switched off all the telemetry and the crypto wallet stuff and everything like that. And so, as far as I'm concerned, it's fine. I What is the thing you were as a default browser? You thought it was a bit of an odd choice. So
Well, of
why?
course, I think any downstream browser is an odd choice for a default browser. I don't know. I have nothing to back up any evidence that would suggest that it's a bad idea. It just seems odd to me. I can almost understand bare bones Chromium. Maybe less nowadays. See, years ago, you used to be able to sync on Chromium the same way you can with Google Chrome,
Yeah.
but they
Can I
took
do
that
that now?
away. There's other ways of
I
doing
did
it, but you used to it used to just be bit for bit.
It was built in.
Yeah,
and
it
then
was
they
built
took it
in.
away.
They thought that the downstreams were using the technology or something like that, and that was stupid because everybody that was making a downstream browser was putting their own sort of thing on it and not using the Google Chrome thing. But that was kind of a moment where some distributions thought maybe it's not such a good idea to use as a default browser, but then Firefox has just always kind of been the, in my opinion, the best choice because again, like you said, the arguments have never really been technical. They've always been philosophical, I think, even about Firefox. And Firefox has always been kind of their development and you can keep up with their development cycles. You can package the browser and put it in a distribution. I don't know. It just seems like the more obvious choice nowadays. And so when a distribution chooses not to use Firefox, I have to believe that it's for philosophical reasons. Honestly, because
Okay, so the only thing I see your point. The only counter I'd have to that point is, do you not find that the chances of website breakage are higher on Firefox than they are on the Chromium based ones, just because of the fact that they're using Gecko rather than Blink?
I've heard of that, but I've never actually seen it.
I
So
I have seen it sporadically, not commonly, not so much to piss me off, but you'd once in a while you'd come onto one site that just didn't work properly on Firefox, and then that's why I always used to actually have whether it was Chromium or on Google Chrome or whatnot in the background as, okay, if I ever came across a website that Firefox wasn't loading, I'd use that to do it, and it would work for that one specific thing that I was doing it for. And then, as time went on, I just thought, well, I'll just have it the other way around, and I'll just use the Chromium based ones instead. So maybe that is a reason that maybe people, distro maintainers and stuff are like, well, maybe we don't want to have the extra overhead of any maintenance on this, and so let's just go for something that is more widely used. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Might be completely wrong.
I mean, the whole concept of default software, though, is it really as big of a deal as it might have once been?
No, it's
given
not.
how
No, it's not.
people
It's not.
people have by now, your average Linux user is opinionated about the software that they use anyway. So now imagine that, huh? So oh well, I try to only use Firefox. I've got bare bones Chromium on here just for the odd thing that might work. Like whenever I'm doing anything that involves audio and video, I'll use Chrome. And I really don't have a good reason for that other than it seems to have a bit of a better audio video stack. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure if that's even true anymore. Talking about Vivaldi in the chat. I have never tried Vivaldi. I wish.
I've used Vivaldi. I liked Vivaldi.
I've heard that it's brilliant.
It is really good if you live in your browser completely. Lots of the things that are now being seen in other browsers, like tab groups and different kind of workspaces and tiling and all that sort of stuff, Vivaldi had it years ago. And so if that's what you do, your entire workflow is your browser. You're never using anything else. Vivaldi's brilliant for that. It's even got inbuilt mail. It's got a Mastodon inbuilt somehow. All sorts of things. I found it quite useful on mobile as well, because you could kind of tweak the interface slightly to make it a bit more one-handed use and whatever. So yeah, and I found it again on Android tablets. It was a good browser. I found because it would act like a desktop class browser. You taking photos of us, are you, Bill?
Leo wants a picture of this.
You've got your flash on. Who the hell uses a flash on a smartphone camera?
Well, it's automatic. I'm putting it on the OTC site. He wanted to see what my bat cave looked like, because I told him I've got all these monitors in front of me.
Yeah. Actually, that would be good. Actually, that would be good to see.
Yeah, I used to have a camera behind me hooked up, but it's not right now because I had to take the tripod to one of the truck shows, and I haven't unpacked.
Oh, that looks pretty cool, actually.
It's kind of a mess on my desk, but you can't see.
How many monitors have you got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
4 that are running right now.
So what's the screen that's up on the? What's that one that's on your wall on the left hand side? Is that a TV?
Yeah, that's the YouTube panel.
Okay.
And then
you've got 1, 2, 3 monitors down here.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
No, it is 3. The microphone in front of it makes it look like 2.
Did you post that somewhere?
Yeah, it's in here. I'll put it. Let me copy. Can I do that? Let's see. Forward. I'll put it in the everybody page so that everybody can see it. There we go. Oh wait, no. Is that it? Why'd that end up in the video?
Oh God Almighty! It's almost like you've never used a computer before.
Well, every day they change something, and you got to learn it all over again. No, it didn't end up there.
That is a nice.
Well, I mean, since we're all doing this, then why not? I'll do the same thing as well.
Yeah, there you go. Everybody share your back.
Although mine's.
How do you just copy the doggone? Copy image. There it is. And now go over here. mintCast. Oh, because we got a public. Okay, it was the wrong public. Paste.
Y'all can see my chaos.
Yeah, you can. I mean, mine is pretty Spartan, to be honest.
Well, I'm gonna have to take another one.
It doesn't look anything. Nothing as cool as that.
Oh yeah, multi-monitor is one of those things I never knew I needed until I had it.
Yeah. All right then, chaps. It's getting to 9 o'clock here, and I'm hungry. So nice seeing you all.
Yep. Likewise.
Next week, right? So next week, it's the resident doctor strikes. So I've been asked to work. So I probably won't be on mintCast. Having said that, there have been discussions about that they might be calling the strike off. In which case, I will be able to come on. So I'll let you guys know.
Okay, sounds good.
Cool. Anyway, have a good evening, you lads. See you later.
The same. Gosh dang it.
Bye.
Figure out how to get this to work.
Going back to the Zorin download numbers, I think those numbers are from when Windows 10 came to end of life in October or just after that. They saw an uptick of a bunch of downloads. So, what they were reporting.
There it is. That's what I wanted to send. There we go. That's the one. There's my setup. Okay. Boom. Yeah, they were kind of, it seemed like they were kind of surprised by it too. I wonder if it's translated itself into increased revenues though, because that's a project that kind of depends on the income coming in.
Yeah, I didn't see any numbers about revenue increasing. I just download numbers.
Yeah.
So.
All right, folks.
And then, well, that's a wrap. Okay.
No, you got something else? Go ahead.
Oh, and then Majid was talking about these different distros, and then Martin Wimpress or Mike Popia. One of those two is going to rant occasionally about all these different distros. Why do they keep making different distros instead of putting all the energy into making Ubuntu, Fedora, or whatever the other mainstream, the top three, and making them as best as they can be. But anyway, why do people keep making new distros or groups of people? Because they can. So some people will use them, some people won't. Is it niche? Yeah, absolutely. But that's what Linux is all about. So anyway.
I think it's a different skill set too, because you don't necessarily have to be a software engineer to make a distribution. You can. It might be the limit
true,
of what you might know how to do. You might know how to like take Ubuntu, change a few things on it, and tweak a couple of things, and then now you might have a distribution that you think everybody else wants, and you know how to set up a way of downloading it. You know how to set up a website to sort of talk about it and make it available. That's not the same thing as knowing how to develop software. That is a completely different skill set.
Well, no.
So I
agree.
I've always been a little bit more lenient in my thinking towards the people that want to make. The only thing about that though is once you make a distribution and people are downloading it and using it, you've got to you now own it. So you need to understand that you have to maintain it. You have to be available to fix problems. You don't just chuck it over the wall and then leave people to their own devices. It's something that you have to look after, as time goes on. And I think I've heard Popey and them say over the years that's the problem with some of these, as they say, what do they call it? Boutique distros that come along and chuck something over the wall, and then it just turns into abandonware, where the website doesn't go away, the download doesn't go away, but it never really works, and you can't really, the maintainers are not approachable or whatever. That's the only time that I have a problem with it. So anyway, I think we can wrap it up. So all right.
Okay. Well,
see you guys.
Okay.
See you guys next
Talk to
week.
you guys later.
Thanks everybody in the live stream.
Okay,
We will
bye-bye.
see you next time.